Hey there, my name is Angela. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to show you how to pose couples who are not models. Let's get to it. First things first, a general rule that I have for shooting anyone is to make sure that they are comfortable with whatever poses you are asking of them. The way I approach this is I usually say, hey, I have this idea in my mind for a pose. It is something like this. Do you guys feel comfortable trying that? More times than not, they'll say, yes, I am comfortable with it. But you can't just assume that they will be and then command them to do that pose. It also allows you to kind of build more of a trusting relationship with whoever you're taking photos of. And as long as they're comfortable, usually that results in better photos when it comes down to it. Another general rule that I have that can be applied to all the poses that I'm going to show you today is to give the person that you're shooting or the people that you're shooting guidance with what to do with their hands and what to do with their eyes. So tell them, hey, move your hands slightly down this way, or look beyond the camera, look directly at me, look towards that tree, look at your partner, and so on. Giving them that guidance makes them feel less awkward, because if you don't talk to them and talk them through it, they're gonna end up feeling like, oh, what do I do with my hands? What do I do with my eyes? And they start feeling weird and freeze up because they think that they're messing up when they're not. And we all know that they're not, but giving them that guidance and just talking them through it really makes it easier on them and makes them realize, okay, I'm doing what I gotta do. I don't have to worry about it. Now, let me get into some poses. The first pose that I have for you can be applied to a bunch of different positions, and that is to ask your couple to go nose to nose. So they could be standing up or sitting down. Essentially, they just put their noses together and have them barely touch. You don't want them to push their noses together because they'll just squish their nose and then the profile of that does not look cute. But usually what I'll do is, as I'm taking photos and they're in different positions, I'll be like, all right, I'll go nose to nose, just barely touch them. And now go in for the kiss. And if they're not comfortable with kissing, again, don't make them do it. But usually the nose to nose pose is super cute and it's my go-to. And usually I start off with something like that to kind of ease them into things. The next pose is also very simple, but it is fun and it can result in more genuine photographs, and that is to ask your couple to hold hands and run. And what I'll ask them to do is to emphasize their steps, so lift their steps up a little higher. It might feel silly, but in the photos it looks really nice. And the way I execute this pose is have them start further away from me and start running towards me. And usually when they're further away, they'll be looking towards me and running. And then somewhere in the middle of that, or as they're making their way over, I'll say, all right, look towards each other. Okay, look towards that tree. All right, look towards the camera. Just kind of giving them different places to look as they're running, because it can result in different variations of the same photo. Something that I have found too is that poses with a lot more motion kind of make people more comfortable. It gets their body moving and it suddenly feels more like an activity than a standstill, awkward, what do I do type of thing. So getting some motion not only produces genuine photographs, but it also makes them more comfortable in front of the camera. Another pose that I like to ask couples to do is dancing. I'll usually tell them, hey, dance like I'm not even here right now. And then they'll start doing their dance, and usually they go in for a spin and I'm just snapping away. And if they keep the dancing at a distance, I might ask them, hey, scoot in a little closer together and go nose to nose while you're dancing, and go in for the kiss, stuff like that, just directing them through it, but also giving them a little bit of space as they're doing it, so they do feel like you're not even there. The next couple poses are a little bit more physical, and not everyone will be down to do them. But if you have a couple that is down, then they can result in some very cute photos. The first pose being a piggyback ride. So essentially, one of them picks up the other and does a piggyback ride, starts galloping around, and you just snap away, take photos, have them spin around when they're doing a piggyback ride, have them look at each other or try to look at each other, have one snuggle up to the other as they're getting a piggyback ride. It's just a lot of fun to do, and it makes the couple feel a little closer together in the process as well, which can result in very genuine, loving photographs. The next one that's also kind of physical is to carry and spin. So you have one pick up the other and then just spin around. And again, as they're spinning, have them snuggle up closer to each other or have one lean back a little bit. Just have fun with it. But I will say, make sure to check in on them and make sure that neither of them are getting dizzy. Because the last thing you want is someone to be spinning and then get dizzy and fall and hurt the other. That's not the business. That's not what you're trying to do. So make sure to check in on them and be like, hey, are you dizzy? Or if the other person's getting tired from carrying the other person, check in on that too. Be like, hey, do you want a little break? I kind of want to do that again, but let me give you a second to kind of rest and then we'll pick her right up again and do it all over again. The last very physical pose is one that I saw on Instagram and recently gave a shot, and it's physical on both ends, and it is having one pick up the other and go side to side. And the reason why it's physical on both ends is while one is picking up the other person, the one who's being picked up is also jumping to help them. And it's very childlike and playful and results in a lot of giggles and little fun moments. And what I found is as they're being picked up, the photos aren't the best, but as they're being brought down, usually the couple was laughing at how ridiculous this feels and they get close to each other while they're getting ready for the next pickup. And those are the shots that are cute. The next pose is not physical at all, but it is a lot more serious. And it is kind of a power couple pose. The way I directed this couple here is I told them, okay, hold hands, do a power pose, almost like the Superman power pose, but keep your hands down. I want your chest out, shoulders back, look serious, look off into the distance, and act like you are the you have your partner and you guys are gonna take on the world together. And boom, it's very powerful, it's very serious and kind of stoic. And if done right, it looks really nice. Let me just say, if you want more photography videos, gear reviews, and adventure videos, then you should hit that subscribe button right now. I'll give you a couple seconds. Did you do it? I think you did it. Okay, cool. Let's get back to the video. All right, so far, all of the poses that I have shown you have involved standing up, but a good way to get some variety when taking photos of anyone, couples or singles, is to make sure you get some standing up, some sitting down, and some laying down. So for the next pose, I have my couples sit down one behind the other, and then I tell the person who's behind the other person to whisper into their partner's ear. It just results in genuine laughter and it has them get close and cuddly. And you could also have them whispering into each other's ears when they're standing, that works too. But for this pose, I had them sitting. Another pose idea that kind of applies to whether you're sitting or standing or laying down is to put an emphasis on their hands. So rather than photographing the couple as a whole, making the entire couple a subject, have their hands be the subject of the photo. So have them be holding hands, and in this case, I had them lay down and stick their hands up outside of the wildflowers, and I took photos of their hands like that. But you can also have them standing and holding hands and then focusing on their hands. Something about hand holding can result in a very cute photo. Even though their faces aren't in it, they know whose hands those are and they cherish those hands. So just making the hands a subject can be a good way to take the pressure off of what they're doing with the rest of their body. Now my last pose is another laying down pose, and that is to have the couple laying down opposite from each other where their heads are aligned. So what I had them do in this case is lay down in the wildflowers and have their heads close to each other where their feet were pointing opposite directions. And then I would have them look at each other or kind of caress each other's head and just take photos from above. I used a wide angle lens for these photos. So I was using a 16mm rather than my nifty 50, which is what I was using for the other photos. And it came out so beautifully, and I think the wildflowers really helped in this situation, but I could also imagine this pose on a beach or just in grass or on any setting, really. Just have fun with it, play with it. Again, make sure they're comfortable with it because not everyone wants to lay down on the dirt, but if they're down, you can get some good photos. And with that, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, bye. Remember how I said that you should subscribe? Well, in case you didn't, boom, here's another chance. If you hit that circle with my face in it, then I'll let you subscribe.